I just want to explain myself a bit. Chukuma, thank God, PHPRAD user and one of the team developers. But that's not what we are coming to do for the day. We are coming to, there's a sidebar I posted on the group, and that's what I'm coming to explain how I did that and how you can also do that with PHPRAD. I will release the script after the tutorial as usual, so that in case if you don't want to spend time learning it or this job, you can just copy it and paste it on your work. So let's get started. I'm just navigating to the root file, being the app header. This is where we are going to do the entire thing. So let's open it. In actual sense, this is what comes by default. This is what PHP gives us, PHPRAD gives us. So I'm going to mute it so that it won't have effect or it won't have any function when we open it, so that we can now style our own. As you can see, I just have muted it, and okay, yeah. When you accept that notice, what it does, PHP won't be publishing or rewriting this PHP page, app header page again, because you have changed the permission. So to start, let's push this thing down. Okay, this class BG white. Sure. Then inside this nav bar, we are going to have three sections: the header of the nav, the body of the nav, and the footer of the nav. So I'm just looking for a unique name to give these things. Nav header. Okay. Then after nav header, we will have, of course, nav body. But I'm thinking at this point we should change it from nav header to our nav header, our nav body, and our nav footer. The reason why I'm doing it that way is that I don't want to step on any ready-made class in PHPRAD. In one word or the other, I'm thinking that maybe there is a place they have named nav or nav header. So just to be a bit random, just to be a bit unique and different, or be sure that we don't have something like that, I'm coming to add our nav, so that it will be a bit kind of different, it stands out from what can be assumed, or from assumption. Okay, getting into it the more. Okay. So at this point, when we view it, we are getting nothing. In case you may want to see how it will look like, it's not actually going to look anything. But let's view it and see how it will look like. All right, let's view it. So you see, we are getting nothing here. So let's style. Now we are going to add our script, but don't worry, this script you can always just copy it from here to the custom page, as in PHP custom script CSS. Why I'm styling things here is to make things faster. Instead of closing here, going to custom CSS, then style it, come back again and type something and go back, it makes the whole file, the whole thing junky. So that's why I'm styling here. So I'm styling our nav bar now. So I'm making it width of 300 pixels, position fixed. The reason why I made the position fixed is that it will attach to the top, and in order to attach to the top, we have to change the position to fixed, relative or absolute. But I think that will be a class for another day. For now, I'm making the position fixed, and the top will be 0 pixels. It will attach to the top, and the bottom will also attach to the bottom. There won't be any gap from the bottom. Another thing we want to add is the overflow. The overflow should be hidden, but sometimes we will have some content in our nav body that will be very lengthy. So because of that, we won't want the entire overflow to be hidden, but we want the x-axis alone to be hidden. So there will be an overflow along the y-axis, but along the x-axis it will be hidden. So that's why we are making it this. You guys, hidden is another way of saying hide or something like that. So after that, I think we need some z-index. But before z-index, let's add some box shadow so that we can see the demarcation and know the difference between our nav and the content of our body. Okay, let's 30. I love 30 pixels, so I'm going to use 30 pixels. Then RGB is 00000. RGB 000 stands for black. Then the last 0.3 here, it's the gamma. It stands for opacity of the color. So that's actually what it stands for. So I'm using 0.1. You see it here. You see that the page, login page here is on top of the nav, and we don't want that. So we want our nav to be on top of any other thing once it's out. We are going to give a z-index of 1000. Again, that's good. Don't say 1000 pixels, just make it 1000. If you write 1000 pixels, it won't work. It's not a pixel, it's a layer. So that is it. So the next thing we are coming to do is to style our nav header. Styling this our nav header here. That's the next big thing we are going to do. Just when we have all these things set up, then the rest will be more easier for us. Okay, the rest will be more very easy. We are going to give it width of 100%, and we are going to give it height of, let's say, 150 pixels. I should have go 150 pixels, yeah, 150 pixels. But this height shouldn't be fixed. This height should be the minimum height. So it shouldn't be less than 150. But if the content of the body is higher than 150 pixels, it should increase more. So we're going to give a background of primary. Our primary color here is blue, so that you can see it. Our primary color here is blue. I've made a mistake. The mistake, okay, our nav is our nav, not our nav bar. It's simply our nav, not our nav bar. So yeah, they like that. Good. But you can see some padding at the left and at the right, but that's something else. But this is what we do. The reason behind this is because of this code. You can remove the code, but I would like to have the code there and give it padding of 0, and also give the code. The code stands for colon. So you have 0 padding. Good. You see it have an extent from left to right. 0 padding. That's the function. So another thing we are looking up to is the minimum height. I told you guys we should give it minimum height, not fixed height. I will do that later. Then we can change this BG light to light, the BG primary to BG light. I told you guys I'm using it earlier on because I just want to enhance the contrast so that you will see the demarcation, the barriers. And after that, we should be ready to get going. We should be ready to get going. Our nav body. Alright, our nav body. Our nav body here, we want to give padding. Actually, it's padding that we are giving here. I don't see. Okay, we can do something with the font size because someone asked me about how to use font size in PHPRAD. So let me also give a typical example of what I'm talking about. So we can give padding 40, 40, 40, 50 is okay. Yeah. And the padding works like from top right, bottom left. That's how the padding works. I think if you have some little knowledge about CSS, you should know about the padding things. So 40, the first 40 stand for 40 pixels on top. Second one stand for 40 pixels on the right. The third one stand for 50 pixels on the bottom. But I said we want to make it 40, 40. 40 pixels on the bottom, please. Then what else am I thinking of? Okay, 60 pesos on the right. Good. So let's see it in action, but we won't see anything in action because we don't have any content in our nav body. So I've forgotten the font size. I said I will give it 15. I'll give it 16. I'll give it 16 pixels. 16 pixels will be okay. 16 pixels. Then after that we'll have to add something to our body, our app body. As for this one, let's give it font size of 17 pixels because the nav header is where we would like to house the username, name of the person who just logged in. Yes. So review. I've not given any content to the body. I'm sorry for going out, coming back. Div class. Clean the class. Then add a. And then inside it we can have some a tag. As a class something href something. Something. Then we close it and say account or hello. Okay, not bad. It doesn't matter, we have styled the entire thing. But okay, we will be missing out. So we'll be missing out. Text decoration is none, so that we won't have any underline there. Then for a tag, on inside our nav bar, the tag that started with a should have text decoration of none, and that same a tag in our nav body we should give it a color of black, and on hover we don't also want to have text decoration, so we repeat the same thing we did on a tag. We do the same thing here, paste it, and on hover we don't want to have any text decoration and stuff. So preview it, and good, we have it. And remember, I've told you I will change the app header to light. That's why it moved from blue color to a kind of gray color. So since we have done that, we can duplicate this, but we don't want to be duplicating things. We want it to pick directly from what we have in our PHPRAD content. And to do that, we just clean all this thing and render what we call HTML content. And that HTML content, first of all, we type HTML, then after typing the HTML, we render menu. Inside the menu, we create a bracket and type menu. Then we'll give it some columns. No, we give it some dollar sign and say render menu things. All right, just stay connected. This nav bar top left is the position where it will be. This is a preset thing, so I don't have full control over it, so I have to make it exactly the way PHP have made this. But as time goes on, I'll also give you guys how to have a full access over your HTML render menu. Okay, so we want to give margin navbar to be our navbar to be nav. Then we want to give margin right to be nav automatic, to pick the margin right automatic. But that one won't work because we have already styled the entire thing, and we want to give a navbar of light. The reason why I'm giving navbar light is because our background is light. So when you give navbar light, it gives it a contrast against the light. So if your navbar or sidebar is dark color, you have to make it navbar dark. You get what I'm saying? Good. Then over there we have them listed. Once we get this, the next thing we want to do is we want to create some footer. Inside the footer is where we're going to have account and logout, and also on our header we are going to render the user photo, but we are going to use if statement to control this. But before we use if statement to control it, let's have our code working, then we can now control it with if statement. The if statement is if the user photo is not empty, then show user photo, but if it is empty, don't show. You get one, so that we won't be having some error things. And again, after everything, where we also use if statement, if the user status login status is true, then we can show navbar or sidebar. But if the user status login status isn't true, mean the user haven't logged in, then our sidebar won't work for them. They won't even have access to it. So that is the places we are going to use if statement. I'm creating an A class tag in an A tag the reason is that because I'm using dflex to justify content center and to test center. So when you use div class, the div class have a display type of block, and that display type of block won't respond to justify content center, and you can't also give a display block to have dflex. Dflex means display flex. So that's why I'm using a tag, because a tag doesn't have any display nature. As you can see, the logo is in the center. The blue color thing is in the center of the thing, and we want to have some padding or margins on the top. So we are giving MT3. M means for margin and T means for top. So I'm giving MT5. So let's take a look at how it will look like. We just want to make our script look nice. There's nothing so wonderful here. Test center. Then after testing center, we want to say Wilson. But this place where I typed Wilson, I will replace it with the user login status. I mean the user login name. I mean the username. What am I saying? User login. I've created a lot of functions and I'm misinterpreting it with PHPRAD. I'm sorry. So that is Wilson. The next thing is this scroll bar. It's not nice. It just spoiled the entire thing. But don't worry. We will fix it. So just make it PB padding bottom. Padding bottom is 4. Yeah, our padding bottom is 4. Good. You might not be seeing it here, but when you get the code, you will see it. So over to this scroll bar. Let's remove it. To remove it, two types. For browsers like Chrome and new Google Edge, new Microsoft Edge, they use V6 engine for their web browsers, and styling theirs is a bit different from normal browsers like Opera Mini, Mozilla, and what PHPRAD is also using, web view that PHPRAD use. So I'm going to style 2 of them and you will see it and I will tell you what controls what and what controls the other. So the one with MS stands for Microsoft Edge and Chrome. Then the other one I'm going to write later stands for normal browsers. So I'm just going to test it. I'm sure this code is wrong, but I don't know what's wrong. We are still having the scroll bar, but don't worry, we'll fix it. We must fix it. We must. And I'm glad that you guys are there seeing how I encounter errors, because it's good when you code something and it didn't work for you. Don't give up, just try to fix it. So another thing here is here I've made a mistake. MS WebKit shouldn't be there. It should be just MS overflow. But when I'm coding this, my attention wasn't drawn to it. So here we're going to have WebKit scroll bar display none. But before the WebKit scroll bar, there should be a dash. There should be a dash. Until I fix this, it won't work. I must fix this. Oh God, come on, guy. Even the WebKit should go off. Guy, take the WebKit off, add dash here. Good. Take the WebKit off. Take the WebKit off. Take the WebKit off. Finally, he's taking it out. Good. Finally, he's taking it out. So it's off. It's off. It's off, it's off, it's off, it's off. So the next thing we'll do is to add a user photo, add something to our content, and give the condition that it will show when the user is logged in. This video is very long. This video is very long. I'm even getting bored, but you just have to stick around and see how things. That's why we're working on a documentation web application actually. And just make sure you are part of the family. Just make sure you don't miss out. It's going to be very mega. It's going to be very big, and it will be released soon, hopefully this month. But don't tell anybody. Don't circulate it yet. Since it's going to come, it will come. All right. So at this point, we are adding the image, the user photo. So here I'm just styling the user photo, border radius of 50%. Then inside the SRC, this border radius won't work. Look at what I type. Border radius is wrong. It's wrong. But don't worry. I'll still draw my attention will be drawn to it later. Then the SRC, we are going to print the user photo. We are going to print the user photo, and anytime you are printing a function like this, please make it a capital letter, else you'll be mixing error. Sometimes it will work for you, other times it won't work, so make sure you use the capital letters. So user photo, just look at, I didn't add any exclamation mark or anything, it's just the user photo. It's not in any quote. It's a plain user photo, and as you can see, we have gotten the user photo here. We want to make it border radius of round. Like I told you guys, I'll still fix this. Border radius S, and good. So this is where I'm giving the condition now. If user photo is not empty, then show user photo. But if it's empty, don't show. That is the condition I'm giving here. If not empty, the exclamation mark stands for not. So we put it into bracket, put it in this in another bracket. So we'll close it with PHP, then we'll close what we have opened, and we end it. Good. $90 pixels. Alright guys, the next thing we are coming to do here is the footer. Inside the footer we have what am I talking about? Inside the footer we are going to add a drop down item. The reason for the drop down item, you can remove it if you like. you can take it off, but I just added it there to give you options in case you want to do something else. When you hover on it, you have a background of your primary background. You have a background color of the primary color, and the drop down has a display of block, and I think that's all for drop down. So we want to link each of them to something. The account will be linked to account, and logout will link to, we just terminate the entire logged in process. So this, we'll put it into quote, and we say account. Oh my god, this is wrong, a/account is wrong, but I'll still come to that, so don't be offended. I'm still using isvid, that's why I have to do the video, then after doing the video I'll do the talking. It's a whole lot. So the logout link, we copied it from what we muted earlier on. You get what I'm saying? We copied it from there so that we won't have any problem with PHPRAD. We want to maintain gold standard. Let's not create our own logout function. Let's maintain what PHPRAD is giving us, and that is cool. That is very cool. So our login log account, we want to do the padding first, so that it will be aligned with what we have in our body, so that it will align with what we have in our body. Good. It's just what we have here. We are our nav, but our nav footer dash footer. Okay guys, at this point I just want to give the condition so that our site nav will only work when we are logged in. So if login, user login status, if user login, there should be a login before the status. If user login status is equals to true, then this will take place. Login is true, then this will take place. Then we'll close it so that the rest of the, you see, so we have to close it so that the rest of the page content will work. Good. It's off, it's completely off. Then when we log in, we'll send 1 2 3 4. We'll have it. So another thing we want to do here is we want to control the hover thing. We want to control it. I'm just taking off the what I used initially, and thus I should have taken this Wilson out and replace it with the user name. I will do that in the script I will give you guys. So at this point we want to make it, when we take our mouse to the extreme of extreme left of our screen, we get the side nav, and when we are out from it, the side nav disappears. So how it works is we set the width of this, the normal width of the side nav to be 10, and that's 10. We don't want people to see it, so we set the opacity to 0. Then we set our nav bar on hover. When we hover it, the width should move to 300 pixels. Then our opacity will be 1, which means full. The full opacity will come. Then let's add hover here so that, yeah, hover. Good. So okay, preview it. Good. Good. As you notice, at this point my video is getting the quality of the images aren't nice at all. They are not nice at all. I've tried the app someone gave me. I don't know how to install it, but I'll put the question on the group. If you know how to install it, just help me out with it on our account. So we are getting this error because look at what we printed, a something which is wrong, so we are removing it. So we take it out. It should be print just account. And at this point, guys, I'll catch you in our next video.